target banned away from him.
Yeah, definitely. We should have picks and bans on your screen fairly soon, but we're just working through some technical difficulties. Meanwhile, you're going to have to look at us and listen to our sweet, soothing voices as we tell you about the pick and ban phase. So
we'll draw you paint you a picture with our words.
So first, in this half of the pick and ban,
that's not with your words. That's the opposite of with your words.
I'm a visual person, Munch. I like to use visuals available for the people to see.
We're going to give you the picks and bans through interpretive dance. Go on, you take the lead.
So
in
the first pick we do have, there we go, see? My interpretive dance
works.
brought back the pick and ban onto your side of the screen.
The magic of dance.
Yeah, that is the power of dance that I do have. I hope you all enjoyed that. It is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I don't think you'll ever get it again, so I hope you really enjoyed that.
I hope we do. It was truly magical, inspiring.
Right. Meanwhile, so Sivir Sivir has been picked first on the side of Team Pariah. You can see Janna and Elise.
I don't know what's going on. Gragas and Nautilus are going to be locked in. Cork going to be hovered over. Janna and Elise already locked in for Gaming Emotion, and Pariah, their first pick was Sivir. So that's our quick recap. And the hovers are going to be Na and Corky.
Yeah, it does definitely look like I'm very surprised that they decided not to first pick the Elise. It's definitely been a strong contender throughout this best of 3 that they had earlier. They have decided to let it through, and In Motion are going to take this away. So Scudsy definitely had a strong performance on that Elise earlier on in the tournament. Meanwhile, this is going to be the first Nautilus we've seen of the tournament today. Nautilus still a very strong support and definitely very good against that Janna, so we will have to see how that one works out in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, we do have a Gragas jungle over on the side of Team Pariah. Definitely strong, definitely in the current meta, and we did have a decent performance on that jungler earlier on today, so we'll have to see. Meanwhile, Flash going on that Shen. We did discuss how we feel about Flash not being on those carry top laners, and we'll have to see whether or not he can pull out a better performance against Keys on this game.
Yeah, we will have to see. Previously, in the last game, we saw Na versus... Actually, no, that was Na versus Maokai. I'm talking out of my bottom. But we have seen Na versus Shen in the past. And Na does win that matchup pretty handedly. So we'll have to see what Flash can do to pull that one back into his favor. Currently hovering Ignite Teleport. I would anticipate that he will change that up in favor of Teleport Flash. When you're playing that Shen, you tend to want to be able to get those Flash Shadow Dashes off. However, we could see a Nautilus top come out here. It could be Shen support Nautilus top.
While that is definitely possible, I don't think that it is the most likely option, purely because in this tournament we've actually only seen Flash play Fizz, Hecarim, and Shen. So if he brings out something else, I would be a little bit surprised. But yeah, we can see at the moment Flash hovering over the Shen, but we do see Varus coming out from Recycle this game. So Varus, definitely a strong poke champion, works very well with the Corki, very good at sieging, getting that damage down from afar, and they do have a nice mix of damage. A bit of magic damage coming out from Corki, and a fair amount of magic damage coming out from Scudsy on Elise. So at least they're not too AD heavy. They do have a mix of damage coming out from the side of Gaming in Motion.
They certainly do, and you can see the same on the other side of the picks and bans. A decent mixture of both AD and AP coming out from Team Pariah on that blue side of the map. So across the two teams, we have two very different styles of composition here. Very poke oriented from Gaming Emotion. You've got the Varus going to be throwing out those piercing arrows. You've got Corki going to be throwing out all of those rockets, as well as, I mean, Voltar Spiderlings, I guess, kind of pokey.
The poke.
Yeah, I know, crazy, but... And as well, the boomerangs coming out from Keys on the Gnar. So very much a sort of siege composition, very much a poke composition coming out from them. Then on the other side of the map, you do have Team Pariah with a bit more engage, a bit more of an aggressive composition.
That is definitely the case, with a speed composition coming out from Sivir. This time they're not going to be looking to get that 4 versus 5 advantage. They're not going to be looking to get those superiority in numbers. They're just going to be denying the poke and just looking for the hard engage. They're going to pop the Sivir ultimate with the Shen on top of whoever the front line is, which we assume would either be the Gragas or the Nautilus. We will have to see which one they do decide to engage with, but the definite counter to that hard engage. Poke composition is a hard engage composition, but you can see from the side of Emotion they recognized that a hard engage is the counter to what they wanted, so they picked Janna as a strong form of disengage. So both teams definitely picking what they need for their compositions to work, and it's just a matter of who can execute their composition the better coming into game.
Absolutely. We'll have to see who's going to be the king of the bottom lane. Is it going to be the Janna, or is it going to be that supporterless? We'll have to find out when we head into the laning phase. Obviously, typically Corki has a much better lane than Sivir, generally speaking.
Last game we did see Jokerism on the Corki versus the Sivir. Definitely went in the favor of Jokerism early on.
Certainly did. And in the mid lane, I wouldn't really expect too much of a kind of action-packed lane there. Obviously, Varus versus Victor, both beginning with V, both incredibly good at clearing waves, as the V would suggest.
We have had fairly
I don't know why
boring.
The V would suggest that.
But we've had pretty boring matchups in the middle lane. We haven't really seen anything exciting. I'd love to. I mean, the most exciting we had was the LeBlanc Syndrome. We had loads of action in that yesterday. But with these two extremely farm-heavy champions, I doubt that's going to happen this game. So I don't really see any high-impact games this game, really. So
high-impact games this game.
High impact. High.
We'll have to see. We probably won't see more than one high-impact game this game. We probably will only see the one game this game, unfortunately. I wish there was more than one game per game. But it is just going to be the one to round out this best of 3 between these two teams. Now, this could be a little bit emotional for these two teams. Obviously, Gaming Motion Black have already lost this game earlier today, and it has now been remade. So we could see Team Pariah maybe a little bit tilted. I don't want to say the T word, but having to redo this game could be affecting their mentality heading in. And Gaming in Black, obviously, sort of having a gaming. I keep saying that Gaming in Black, Gaming in Motion Black, going to have this sort of ray of light come down from the heavens.
Yeah, definitely an opportunity for them to come back. Obviously, it was a close best-of-3 series, and I'm sure they're looking to have a better performance than they did in that last game. They definitely have a much more well-rounded composition this time. They're not completely relying on a Vayne to carry them through that mid to late game stage. So I expect a stronger performance coming out from Emotion. We'll see whether or not they're actually able to clinch that last spot in the ESL UK Premiership.
We will have to see, ladies and gentlemen, as we head onto Summoner's Rift for our final game of the night, potentially. We never know. We thought the last one was the final one, so we'll have to see. Fingers crossed this is the final one of the night. Is Gaming Motion in Black? No, Gaming in Motion Black.
It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. 7th game of the day here. It is going to be... Actually, no, it's 6th game of the day, isn't it? Because it was 2-0 to begin with, but... Team Pariah versus Gaming in Motion Black. I finally managed to get it out in a coherent sentence. And we immediately see Team Pariah looking for this level 1 invade, but they're going to be walking across a ward.
Yeah, so for those that haven't noticed on screen, you can vote for who you think is going to take this last spot in the ESL UK Premiership. And if you missed the link on screen, it should be posted in the Twitch chat fairly soon. So have a quick look over on there, and you can also have a look at all the other teams that have qualified and any more of the schedule that will be coming up in the future. So now that we've got that out of the way, we can move on to talk about the game. We do see Team Pariah going for their invade. The only team this tournament that has actually really looked for invades during the early game. They do have a good composition for it, and meanwhile 5 of them hanging around. They're trying to bait this coming onto the Gromp. Oh no, they're not going to fall for it though.
Yeah, Wing with a nice phosphorus bomb there, just going to give himself vision of everyone it hits. And we're just going to see them denying this early play coming out from Team Pariah. They're obviously wanting to try and pick up some kind of early advantage, trying to secure themselves this victory. Obviously, they have pretty much already won this game earlier on, so they're going to be wanting to do everything they can to make sure that they can redo what they did earlier.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. So for those that have joined late to the stream, just a quick reminder that Team Pariah failed to follow the rules set by ESL. strongly recommend for those entering any tournaments that they do read the rules thoroughly and make sure that they are fully aware of all involved. And as a result, there is a remake for the final game between Team Pariah and Gaming in Motion Black. So this game, as we said, will decide the final spot in the ESL UK Premiership.
Yeah, unfortunately for Team Pariah, these rules were certainly not made to be broken. And we are here for that remake. So we'll see who's going to be able to take this one away from their opponents. So far, Cutie Bacon Piggy in this middle lane doing a decent job to try and harass down Recycle on that Varus. But so far, completely even in CS, and in fact, there are a couple of extra minions for Recycle to pick up, so he will be able to pick up an ever so slight CS lead in that mid lane as he immediately misses one, so maybe not.
Ooh, meanwhile, Motion is going to get stunned up a little bit by IMB support.
I believe he's called Wing rather than Motion. I think Motion is the team he's on.
Yeah,
that's how the
long
team
day
work. But Pez is going to get caught up by the dredge line. A good bit of damage traded back though from Wing. And we see now Scudzy heading in towards this bottom lane. He's stood on a ward. Can't Pug dodge away from this one. A nice spell shield is going to protect him from the tornado, but a lot of damage coming out from Wing. And Pug and best support being pushed out of lane pretty much.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. Definitely applying pressure to this bottom lane, but it's going to be difficult for Scudzy to really gank any of these lanes. When Recycle hits level 6, he's definitely going to be a force to contend with. Cutie Bacon Piggy decided not to go with Cleanse. Risky decision, but I guess he's confident in his positioning on Victor, and he'd much rather have that kill pressure in the middle lane rather than go for the safer Summoner spell. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we do see Flash going a little bit aggressive onto Keys. One arguably debated matchup. I did have quite a heated debate with Artorias about who actually wins this matchup, and he informed me that Shen actually comes out ahead in this matchup. However, I strongly disagree. But meanwhile, we do see that Shen is going very aggressive.
Well, so far, Shen's coming ahead. Keys does have to flash away from Nemesis as he enters the lane. He's going to take a couple of boomerangs to the face. He's going to be able to walk away with his life, and happy with that Summoner spell burn.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. So, at the moment, unfortunately, Artorias proving me wrong. But you can see that Keys does have the CS lead, so depending on your perspective, you could say that Keys was in fact winning this lane.
Yeah, well, we will have to see as the lane continues. Obviously, only for almost 5 minutes into the game, so let's not declare who's won the lane just yet.
Definitely the safe option.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see until we get a little bit further on into the laning phase. Obviously, 5 minutes has just passed on the clock, and so far in Motion, 200 gold ahead of their opponents, doing an incredible job in this early game to snowball their lead. But then again, 200 gold, not that big of a deal. So it's actually been reduced to 100, but now it's back up to 200. Oh, this is such an exciting start to the game. Crazy numbers from both sides coming out. Nemesis going in to throw down that little gingerbread man in the enemy jungle.
And meanwhile, on the other side, you do see Scudzy moving into the enemy jungle to gain some vision of his own. Meanwhile, Nemesis hanging around the bottom lane. They do have a lot of crowd control from Nautilus to be able to lock down their target and get the follow-up, so is support going to go for it?
He's looking for it. The dredge line doesn't quite connect, though, and they're going to have to walk away without achieving anything. So unfortunate there for them. In the meantime, Scudzy knows that Gragas is in the bottom lane, and he's going to come and take advantage of this by eating away at that Gromp. Spider versus Frog. Spider wins, apparently. He's going to be more than happy with that 62 gold and a little bit of regen.
That is the case. At least, fortunately, proving to be superior than the jungle.
Well done. Well done.
Would be somewhat unfortunate if that wasn't the case.
We did see earlier in the tournament someone get executed in the jungle.
So,
in fact, it wasn't even executed. Wilson got the kill on his Malzahar. So, it's not. It wouldn't have been the first time we've seen Elise get defeated by the jungle. I'm glad to see that that's not being repeated in this game.
Indeed, indeed. So we can see in the middle lane a bit of a CS lead coming for Cutie Bacon Piggy. Not that surprising. Actually, it is a little bit surprising, seeing as you do have the extra auto attack damage from Varus to make it easier in that last hitting department, but does not appear to be the case. So Cutie Bacon Piggy going to come back to lane with his upgraded Hex Core. Unsurprising. He's now going to upgrade the Death Ray for maximum wave clear efficiency.
Yep.
Yep.
He certainly will.
Meanwhile, we can see in the bottom lane, bit of a CS lead coming in the favour of Pug, but nothing too serious. So both laners, or both teams, deciding to play very passively in this early game, which is not that surprising. I was expecting a little bit more aggression from Scudzy. That is what we've seen throughout this tournament from him. However, this game, it seems that maybe he is a little bit tired too. Maybe he's not looking for that aggression for during
just wants
this
to chill
game.
out, man. You know, just wants to have a relaxed game of League of Legends.
You know, who doesn't love some relaxed game of League of Legends? Farm till 50 minutes.
Yeah,
And then, however, in terms of a casting perspective, that could
man,
possibly be the worst.
I love casting 50-minute Farm Fest. Those are my favourite games to cast.
I can imagine so.
I love them almost as much as I love pauses.
And we do know how much you love pauses.
I just love to analyse the same thing I've been analysing for 20 minutes already. That's my favourite thing to do.
Very considerate of these players to
yeah.
think of you then to pause as often as they can.
Yeah, certainly is. As Nemesis gets a nice bit of deep vision into the red side jungle, and he's going to start off this blue buff. QT Bacon Piggy is going to be here to try and pick that objective up for himself. Elise is entering the fray. Scudzy going to look to try and smite this one, but going to be pushed away by the gravity field. The red buff took it though, and look at the damage onto Scudzy. Damn!
It does look like the Nemesis had to smite that one away, afraid of whether or not Scudzy would take that away from him, but nice blue pickup. I wonder if Scudzy will return that by going to the other side, decides not to. Just going to farm his side of the jungle and play it pretty safe. So denying that blue buff from Varus is definitely going to be a massive factor in this game. I mean, he does rely fairly heavily on it, as all poke champions do. However, once he has that Muramana completed, meanwhile, Scudzy gets aggressed upon in the river.
He does indeed, and has to flash away from that death ray, but the flash Chaos Storm is going to come through. Repel is used. The Monsoon might just keep him alive, and there's the heal from Wing, and the teamwork coming through from In Motion are going to keep their jungler alive, and First Blood is yet to be shed.
That is definitely the case. Both flashes now used from Nemesis and QT Bacon Piggy in return for the flash of Scudzy and Pez. They do have to burn a heal from Wing, but definitely worth denying First Blood from QT Bacon Piggy. You do not want any extra buffs on top of him, and you definitely don't want that First Blood on him. So nice reactionary play from the side of In Motion Gaming, and they managed to successfully keep their jungler alive.
They certainly do, and they're going to be very happy with that one as QT Bacon Piggy heads over to grab himself a blue buff. Obviously, the first one he didn't quite manage to get, but it's not going to be too much of an issue as that was the opponent's blue buff anyway, so he's going to be able to grab that bit of mana sustain for himself as he heads back into lane. And across the board, actually, Team Pariah are managing to pick up some CS leads here. 20 CS in the mid lane, just over 10 CS in the bottom lane as well, so doing a good job to start to pull ahead of their opponents in lane, and it's reflected in the gold as well. 600 gold in favor of them now, so slightly more than that 200 gold that In Motion had managed to build up earlier. An 800 gold swing, oh my goodness. In the mid lane, we do actually have action though, as QT Bacon Piggy is in a lot of trouble. The Venomous Spider is going to go down, and Scudzy picks up the first blood of the game.
And this is the problem with not running cleanse on your mid laner. You might be confident in the 1 versus 1 matchup, but how are you in the 1 versus 2? Wait a minute, I can answer that one for you. You're not going to do very well. The ultimate from Recycle comes out, locks down QT Bacon Piggy long enough for Elise to flank around from the side, locked them down together, and Scudzy picks up the first kill of the game. So gold now dead even for both teams. Definitely all to play for as the game goes on, but early favor. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Wing gets hooked up.
Is indeed going to get caught by that staggering blows. Passive from Nautilus as well, but not quite going to be able to secure the kill onto that Earth Rider. They're going to have to back away. Just going to be happy with that bit of damage that they've managed to achieve. Taking a look at the gold, still a little way off the big items for both of these AD carries. A little bit of a gold lead coming out onto the Sivir. Wing getting caught yet again by the dredge line. That's going to be the depth charge used, as well as on the hunt, who's Pez immediately using that Monsoon. Going to be able to just deny this engage.
Yep, definitely good summoner spell use. Oh, good ultimate from the side of Pez. Meanwhile, he does burn his exhaust in that trade, so they are going to be that summoner spell down. But nevertheless, they do survive, and the CS difference isn't that big. Meanwhile, we do see Nemesis hanging around the middle lane.
He certainly is looking for whatever he can find there, but all he's going to find is a Varus that's safe underneath his tower. Not quite going to be able to get the objectives that he was looking for there. Not going to be able to secure his mid laner that early kill. And just 12 minutes into the game, no dragons have been picked up just yet for either side. And honestly, neither team have even looked towards that dragon. They've not even sort of pressured it, both throwing the occasional ward around that pit, but neither really wanting to commit to anything.
It does appear that way. Meanwhile, with that first blood now over to the side of Scudzy, we can see he's decided to rush that Sightstone. He'll be looking to get vision around his half of the map, and you can already see nice pink wards coming out. But meanwhile, best support roaming around as he does best. We talked about this a lot during the last best of 3 earlier on in the day, and he does like to roam around. You can see he's already got mobility boots. Meanwhile,
he's going very aggressive. He's going to use that Gnar ultimate. Tank versus tank, there really isn't a lot of damage thrown across either way, despite the ultimates. So Shadow Dash going to be used to get away from that sticky situation, and nothing going to come of it up in the top lane. But as you were saying, I'm best support is the kind of guy that likes to roam around.
So as you can see in this top lane, meanwhile, while I'm talking about the top lane, Dragon being taken from the side of Team PRA. No one in position for Gaming in Motion to contest. So that's going to be first Dragon of the game. Gaming in Motion are going to be aware, and they're going to move up to this blue buff. Are they going to contest?
This is really nice by Team PRA as well. This is the second blue buff.
Meanwhile, the top being dived.
It certainly is. Keys is going underneath the tower. He's tanking this one for quite a long time. Does have to jump out. Takes one too many shots, though. Is going to be able to survive, though. Scudzy manages to pick up the kill.
Definitely a well-executed dive there from the side of Gaming in Motion. They recognize that, hook does land.
Oh, Wing in the bottom lane, going to get caught up by the depth charge. Look at this, CC, he goes down. Nemesis picks that one up. The explosive cask actually going to be used onto Pez. Can they commit to this one? Feels like an overzealous ultimate, but the flash stun is going to come through. A nice flash by Pez to dodge away from the staggering blows.
Yeah, so that's 2 flashes down from Nemesis and I'm best support, as well as the ultimate from Pug. Meanwhile, they are going to pick up this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane as the tier 1 tower in the top lane goes down. Meanwhile, teleport from Shen coming up.
Scudzy in all sorts of trouble here. He's going to have that repel available, but he's not even going to get a chance to use it as he gets taunted away. That's going to be a kill onto the top lane.
He still had his flash available. He might have been able to use that to escape, decided not to waste it. Instead, going to hand over now the red buff to Flash. So that's going to get him a little bit back into that top lane. Meanwhile, I just wanted to mention that the dive in the top lane was very well executed because he recognized that all of Team PRA were in the bottom half of the map, so there was no risk of a counter gank in the top lane, meaning it was a fairly safe and well executed dive. Meanwhile, Wing did not respect that same. He didn't recognize that all of Team PRA were in the bottom half of the jungle and ended up getting punished for it by being dived. So now 1-to-1 in terms of towers. Gold still ridiculously even, and 2-to-2 in terms of kills. So we shall see how things go.
We certainly will as we head towards the middle stages of the game. 15 minutes on the clock right now. Scudzy clearing away that jungle. 2 kills on this Elise already, and he's going to be looking to turn that into more. Nice skin, by the way. He was running the other skin earlier. I can't remember which skin it was.
Keys could be in trouble.
Keys is in a lot of trouble up in this top lane. Getting the double boomerangs, though, is going to be able to kite away from those aggressors. The Frozen Mallet there doing absolute work for him, slowing down the opponents and getting him to safety. And the gold right now is almost exactly even. The only difference between these two teams right now is that one dragon in favor of PRA. So, nice little sneaky Q there from Recycle. Picks up a little bit of harass onto QT Bacon Biggie, but doesn't have all that much damage just yet. So, actually, do have a bit of an invade going down.
Yeah, they're looking to just get some deep vision down in the enemy's half of the jungle. With the double Sightstone, it's very easy for them to ascertain that division. Meanwhile, one thing we do need to note is Keys is going aggressive onto Flash.
Certainly is. He has used that Gnar ultimate up in the top lane. Flash going to be trying to escape from this one. Shadow Dash does come out. both of his summoners are on cooldown, but Keys cannot quite capitalize on that, as the mid lane tower is being regressed upon by In Motion. On the hunt has been used now. Scudzy could be in trouble. A nice flash to dodge away from the dredge line. And again, they back away from the fight.
Yeah, the fact that they forced Flash back was actually a really good situation for the side of Gaming In Motion, because if he had ultimated in, his health would have been ridiculously low. So well done by Keys to apply as much pressure as he could in the top lane, and the fact that Flash's teleport is down is definitely going to put them in a good position. They do have the TP advantage, but of course Stan United is available if they do need it. Meanwhile, a lot of ultimates still available from the side of Gaming In Motion. They are still looking around this mid lane, seeing what they can do to contest. And Key's just going to go get that wave being pushed in the bottom lane. So this is exactly what their comp is good for. They do have very good poke, something that we mentioned early on in the game. And they're going to send to the tower, keep throwing out this poke. And with the Trinity Force completed on wing, they're definitely in a good spot to siege for this tower.
They certainly are, and they're going to be looking strategy. Now look at the poke onto IMB support coming out from Recycle. He's really looking to punish the enemy team. Pug actually wasting his spell shield there, and immediately gets hit in the face by a rocket from Corki. It's so difficult to be able to dodge away from all of these different skill shots coming out from the side of In Motion, and in the meantime Keys pushing this wave underneath this bot lane tower, and we immediately see Flash is on his way down to that bottom lane to try and pick up that CS, try and pick up at least as much as he can. Get there. The gravity field going to be used just to stop these minions pushing on the tower. They're trying to hold on to this mid lane objective as long as they possibly can, but look at the damage onto Pug. Recycle, unfortunately though, doesn't have any blue buff. Obviously they've been taken away from him all game so far. So
he hasn't had one,
yeah, so obviously it's going to slow down that sort of power spike that comes out of Recycle when he finishes off that mirror mana. It's going to mean that he can't spam his abilities out quite as much as he'd like, and it's going to slow down the stacking of that tier.
Yeah, right, suddenly all of a sudden in the mid lane, we do quickly realize how good the wave clear is from Team PRA. With Victor, he's putting down his gravity field to stun up the minions to help them group up. That way, Pug with the boomerang blade and Cutie Bacon Piggy with his death ray easily clear the waves under the tower, preventing the enemy team from sieging. And at this point in the game, they just don't have the items where their poke is incredibly effective. And something that a pet hate of mine that I talked about last week is when you have your mid and your AD carry sharing farm and contesting for the same farm in the mid lane, it actually does no favors for either one of them. You know, while they are trying to get their first blue buff of the game, they are going to lose this middle tower.
They certainly are. The only one staying worth on the lineup of In Motion is Recycle. He's going to be well happy with that blue buff. He's actually going to be able to press Q more than once every minute. So he's going to be more than happy with that one. Is the Dragon going to be started off by Team PRA? They already got the first one. Is there anything In Motion can do about this one? As Keys jumps in, gets pulled towards his team. The cocoon does land, but a triple storm comes out. Wing going to get knocked up as Cutie Bacon Piggy takes a lot of damage from the Chaos Storm. He's going to go down. In fact, it was his own Chaos Storm. But Wing now getting caught by the taunt. Flashes over, and he's going to survive. What a play out of him. And now Flash is on this front line taking a lot of damage. Can they finish off the tanky Shen? He used his flash to get over the wall, but Keys is already waiting for him. And it's a 3-for-1 in favor of In Motion.
Yeah, they do lose the Dragon, but a really good fight there from the side of In Motion. You can see this whole fight starts from Gnar jumping into the team fight and managing to throw iPug back into the rest of his team. The beautiful follow-up then from the rest of In Motion is you see the cocoon come out from the least, but look at that gravity field in the backline. It really prevents the follow-up initially. However, the ultimate from Recycle locks up the big carries from the side of Team PRA, and that enables the two major carries to go down. Really nice juke from Wing. We did praise his mechanics earlier on, but once the two carries were down, the two major tanks from Team PRA were focusing on the Dragon. And yes, they did pick up that Dragon, but the cleanup from Keys and the rest of In Motion enabled them to pick up a couple of kills. And now the gold lead is swinging in their favor as well. They pick up the mid lane tower. So now with the first gold lead really of this game, it's not quite as substantial as obviously In Motion would like, but a gold lead is better than no gold lead at all. So we will now have to see how they transition with this lead and the momentum that they've got from winning a fight into the mid game.
They certainly will, and it looks to be slightly in the favor of In Motion, but if you take a look at the gold difference, only 600, which is the gold difference we saw earlier for PRA. So InMotion managing to turn this slightly more into their favor, but again, the Dragon did go over to Team PRA. So 2-0 in Dragons, 2-all on the towers. It's pretty much an even game at this point. Both teams just pretty much evenly matched in this, I feel.
That is definitely the case. Meanwhile, we do have the teleport still available from Keys, so I imagine they're going to send him bot lane fairly soon to deal with the push coming out from Flash. Meanwhile, people posturing around this blue buff. The hook does miss, but Nemesis does get caught out.
He certainly does. He's going to be pushing forwards on this one. The teleport going to come through as the entire fight kicks off. Pug taken down. The Chaos Storm is onto 2 though, and a lot of damage. The Monsoon is not going to be enough to keep Corki alive as Scudzy repels out of there. And that is going to be a 1-for-2 in favor of InMotion.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case. Initially, Nemesis thought that he was absolutely fine. Didn't even get a chance to burn that casket. We should have a replay coming up on your screen in a little bit. But you will see how Nemesis getting a little bit overconfident. Gets caught out a little bit. The dredge line does come out.
Recycle is going to be caught up. There's the knockup. Can they finish him off? No, he flashes away and Keys is about to turn. Meganar still has his ultimate available. But they're not going to find the engage.
Yeah, they do successfully get the flash out of Recycle, though with his cleanse down, he wasn't able to escape. So had to burn that summoner spell in order to survive. And we see there now, really nice taunt earlier on from Flash to lock down 2 members, but they still pick up a carry onto iPug as well as Nemesis. They do lose Wing as a result, but nevertheless coming out ahead. And once again, the gold lead doesn't really shift as no major objectives were taken, but nevertheless they do come out with a kill advantage, meaning this is definitely big for the momentum of InMotion. They definitely need this coming into this game with initially losing that best of breed previously. Now given another chance, this is definitely looking much better for them this game.
It certainly is. We'll see if they're going to be able to continue to pull this in their advantage. Still not even quite 1,000 gold in their favor yet though, so certainly still have their work cut out for them. That piercing arrow actually hit Pug off the side of my screen. That's how long range that ability is. Go all the way out of range of your screen. And in fact, it can hit you if Varus is off screen. You can still be hit by those piercing arrows if your camera is centered to your champion. So there you go.
Another fun fact.
Another fun fact of the day. That's what people watch for, these fun facts. And also, aside from the fun facts, there is a bit of League of Legends going on too. So
beautiful commentary behind it.
I feel like the League of Legends is just kind of a bonus, and most people watch for the fun facts majority.
Yeah, I can imagine that being the case. Now, you can really see the poke coming out. You can see the cope. You can see.
How can they cope with the poke? That's the question.
That's exactly the question, and you can see the poke coming out, definitely forcing already IMB support back. Now with the Mana Mune, I believe it's called the Mana Mune coming out completed. No, Mana Mune.
Oh no, Mana Mune. Yeah,
from
you're right.
Recycle. It's alright, man.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, you are forgiven. But meanwhile, Keys sitting on a ward. Oh, Recycle, is he in trouble?
Oh, Keys is about to turn Meganar, though, and immediately locks them up. This Stand United is going to be used onto Cutie Bacon Piggy, and the Barasol comes through. The damage is everywhere, though, as the Chaos Storm is melting the backline for InMotion. Can they survive this one? Yes, the Monsoon comes through from Pez, but a beautiful explosive cast finishes them off, and it's a double kill for Nemesis with the barrel roll. Not barrel roll, but anyway, Recycle is not going to last much longer as Flash finishes him off. And I didn't expect that to turn quite as sour as it did for InMotion. 4-1.
Yeah, you can definitely see here they're sitting on a wall, but they do get caught out. Cutie Bacon Piggy gets locked up against the wall along with best support, but that beautiful gravity field prevents the rest of InMotion from following up. That ultimate, though, is so good from Recycle. It locks up 5 people, but in the meanwhile, this Chaos Storm is just hitting and doing so much damage on the backline, meaning Keys is just left alone to fight 5 in the front. It's a nice ultimate from Janna, but it's just not quite enough, enabling the rest of Team PRA to pick up some kills. So now the kills have been equalized and they have started the Dragon.
Certainly have, and this will be the 3rd Dragon of the game, should they be able to secure it. It looks like InMotion are not going to be able to contest for this one. We do see Pez arriving on the scene, but I'm not sure that would be the wisest 3v1 to go for, and Pez agrees with me on that one clearly, as he decides to back away. Blue buff is available for InMotion, and they should be able to secure this one themselves.
Meanwhile, you can see Keys throwing down that frozen mallet onto Flash in the top lane.
Oh, this could be very dangerous for Flash. Meganar is there. He has his ultimate available. The wallop not quite going to connect. But there's the slow. However, the rest of Pariah is all in this top lane waiting for Keys to go more aggressive.
Yeah, and I think Keys recognized that Flash started turning around, so he decided not to keep on chasing and just disengage.
Yeah, and wise move certainly from him. Now Pariah starting to try and set up some deep vision. 27 minutes into the game, it would not be beyond the realm of possibility for these teams to start aiming for that dragon. And take a look at the gold right now. Completely even once again. 100 gold difference, or 200 now. But crazy close game at 27 minutes in. And I mean, the first two games of this series had both already ended, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we saw early surrenders coming out from both teams the moment a Baron was taken, so I wonder whether or not the surrender vote will come out the moment this Baron suddenly disappears. We'll have to see, but you can see now the side of In Motion. They have caught Nemesis out a little bit out of position, but at the moment they're just trying to gain vision around the Baron pit. Doing a good job with the double sight stone. You can see that getting as much vision and wards down as they can. There should be a little bit of contention over this Scuttle Crab, but it'll be debatable whether or not the smite's used by Scudsy.
Yeah, interesting smite there. Oh, the rocket nearly taking that one away though, as Nemesis has to body slam out of this one. The fight is going to kick off though as Keys is on the backline. A nice Monsoon is going to disengage as Keys turns into Meganar but doesn't land the ultimate. Pug on the backline is doing so much damage as In Motion Wing survives the Chaos Storm and takes down the enemy mid laner. It's a 4 versus 4 right now. Jungler for mid laner as Recycle flashes away from the dredge line, but he's all on his own and he's taken down for the double kill onto Pug. And now they're looking to turn this into more. The Righteous Glory has been used. Keys going to be slowed down by Nemesis, but they can't follow up onto the tanky Gnar, and it's only going to be a 2-for-1.
Yeah, a bit of a questionable team fight there, but we should get a replay up on your screen just to break that one down for you. It was pretty messy. That whole thing started as a result of the flank coming in from QT Bacon B. You can see Poke coming back and forth, and then on the hunt, immediately gets popped and they go onto Keys while he's in Mininar. The hook lands onto Wing, but a beautiful disengage from Pez prevents the team from following up. Meanwhile, now that all the disengage has been used, QT Bacon Pig is slightly out of position at the back, but with the disengage used, it's now really difficult for them to escape. You can see Keys trying his best to get out of the situation, but with no ultimates available, no flashes available, it's just a matter of chase and cleanup, and the crowd control available landing onto Recycle just pretty much finishes him off. So very well played, nice team fight by Team Pariah, giving them now extending slowly to an 800 gold lead. I wonder if we'll actually ever pass that 1,000 gold lead mark.
800 gold at just 29 minutes into the game. What an incredible lead Team Pariah have. Just kidding, it's nothing. So we'll have to see if they can continue to extend that and actually turn it into something substantial. I think the most significant lead that Pariah have right now is these 3 dragons. That is actually a win condition right there that they can push towards. If they can secure themselves 2 more dragons, they will certainly be in the driving seat in these team fights. And with the team fight composition that they're already running, it will certainly start to go in their favor should they be able to secure those objectives. And it's going to be down to whether or not Gaming Emotion White will be able to poke them down before the dragon fight starts.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. We also have to note that Team Pariah do actually have a gold lead, even though they're down in tower. So the moment they get that tower in the top lane, they will definitely extend their gold lead to about 2,000. So Team Pariah doing a very good job. Even though they're down in terms of towers, they're still ahead in gold. So well played by Team Pariah to have a really impressive CS scores. You can see in the middle lane and in the bottom lane, they do have leads in those respective roles. Unfortunately, no major item advantages now with that. With the last Whisper and the Muramana completed from Recycle, his poke is going to start really hurting. So Team Pariah are going to have to be careful with how they choose to pick these fights. They're going to have to hard engage, which they've actually been doing a very good job of. So these next few fights are definitely going to be action-packed, and I expect the next one to be happening around the Drake.
Certainly should look that way as Nemesis takes a bit of damage in this jungle. Scudsy pushing very aggressively far forwards. Not sure you want to just go straight for the fight like that. You need to poke them down a bit first, mate. He obviously disagrees with me on that one. Pushing very aggressively and walks into the enemy jungle, going for those wolves. They're not going to be there though. Possibly just looking for the flank, in fact, but actually heading around the Baron area.
I think he was looking to smite the wolves, because by smiting you obviously gain that natural vision that hangs around that area of the map. Yes, indeed. And meanwhile, we do see a big wave pushing in the bottom lane, so somebody's bound to go and deal with that. I imagine that they will send keys as Rizikol goes to pick up his blue, but they do recognize that he's on the blue, and immediately they head towards the Baron.
They certainly do, and Peasant Scudzy know what's up as they immediately head over. There is a ward in the pit for In Motion. They know it's happening, but can they get here in time to contest it? A lot of damage is coming down onto the PRA lineup as they start the fight. Cutie Bacon Piggy taking a huge amount of damage from the poke. Scudzy is in a lot of trouble though. The repel is not going to save him. IMB support now trying to lock up the enemy team. Is he going to be able to though? Taking a lot of damage, but the Stand United going to be used by Flash as Keys jumps away from this one with that leap from Gnar. It's going to be a 1-0 for Team PRA.
Yeah, we saw they are going to head straight to this Drake now, but while they started the Baron, what they actually wanted to do was just bait the fight. You can see that while away from the towers, it's very easy for Team PRA to start these engages, especially with the on the hunt. Yeah, you can definitely see that strong poke coming out. I wonder if they're going to choose to re-engage at this point.
It's the 4th dragon now in the hands of Team PRA. Teleport is available on Flash, so... Oh, actually, Flash isn't the one that's not there. It was IMB support that wasn't there, but it would have been a 4 versus 4. But they're not going to be going for that fight. Anything but action on these guys' minds right now.
Yeah, but it's a bit strange from Scudzy because he did have his Flash available and Janna was nearby. If he just jumped to IMB support, he would have at least been slightly closer to Pez, and Pez might have been able to save him, especially with that Flash that was available.
Well, he could have flashed over to Red Buff.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like he had options available, but obviously wasn't fast enough to react upon them. So Scudzy definitely been dying a lot. That is something that we noticed in the previous best of 3 played by these two teams. So definitely the sacrificial lamb for his team. Somewhat unfortunate for Scudzy. However, I'm sure the rest of the team would prefer he died than they die themselves.
Yep, certainly. Well, everyone would rather someone else died than themselves, generally speaking, except those wonderful selfless support players. Heroes of our time, truly. But the team's starting to mill around this Baron area. 34 minutes on the clock. It's certainly a point of contention, and Team PRA again going around this area, clearing the vision, making sure that In Motion don't know what's going on with the Baron. They don't know whether they're there or not. They can start to play some mind games on their opponents. By the looks of things, it's Gaming In Motion that are going to be the ones being more aggressive. They're pushing it down in this mid lane, trying to get a bit of pressure on the map. But vision-wise, especially around the Baron pit, I feel like Team PRA are sort of winning out.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Meanwhile, you can see in the bottom half of the map, Flash continuing to split push as Shen does best. We'll see that pressure continuously coming out from him. Meanwhile, the rest of Team PRA might look to engage on this poke, but you can see now how tanky Nemesis is on that Gragas. 1 max range Q from Rizikol barely even dents him, so he's gonna need to... Oh, meanwhile, Righteous Gory.
Everything being popped here from Team PRA, but the Dredge line doesn't land. A nice Howling Gale comes out from Pez and immediately negates that engage. So that's one ability, one ultimate on cooldown for the lineup of Team PRA. Is there anything In Motion can do while that's on cooldown though? The On the Hunt is a fairly big cooldown for these guys. Are they going to be able to capitalize on its lack of
availability?
Yeah, availability. I didn't know what to say there.
That's alright. And meanwhile, we do see this is a prime opportunity for them to begin sieging because they have the disengage from Janna and the ultimate from Rizikol, meaning this would be a prime time. Now with their main engage unavailable, they can poke them out for as long as they want. But it does look like they've decided not to do that. They're still going to keep playing it safe. They are behind now, 3,000 gold. Not sure where that gold lead suddenly came from, but definitely snowballing their advantage for Drakes now on the side of Team PRA. That dragon should be spawning in about 3.5 minutes, give or take. And at that point, unless Gaming In Motion really utilize their poke comp, they're going to lose that 5th dragon and put themselves in an extremely bad position.
Well, you say give or take, but neither of these teams looking to give in this one. Keys could find himself in a 2v1 right now. IMB support has roamed down to try and get on to this dinosaur as he uses that Gnar ultimate. On the hunt is on cooldown, so they won't be able to chase him down.
That is the case. Key's going to get out fairly easily. His ultimate will be down for very little cost. Meanwhile, they are dancing around this Baron. It does look like they're just trying to ascertain vision. Starting it now with Keys' ultimate down would definitely not be a great decision for them. Meanwhile, we do see Dragon spawning in about 1:45.
Recycle not in the best of positions here. Really won't be able to achieve much poke from that.
What is Wing doing?
Over the wall. Wing, what are you... There's nothing to say. Why are you there? Like, I'm speechless.
Bit of a brain fart there for Wing, sorry.
Like, that is such a big deal now because the Baron is going to go over to Team PRA. Disconnected. Where's the pause? Pause the game. Unfortunate.
Meanwhile, they are going to go. Oh, and there comes the pause. Seems that they noticed just a little bit too late. I wonder whether or not anything will come as about of that. They have paused the game. It does appear that that is a result of Wings DCing. Obviously, Team Pariah unaware.
It does explain why he was out of position,
yeah,
at least.
It does.
Because I was baffled as to why on earth he was stood there. But he is going to be able to... Well, they are going to pause the game, but they might just lose the Baron off this one.
Yeah, it does look like that. They've decided to go straight on to Scudzy. But we should be getting back into game fairly soon. Hopefully they will sort out all of their lag issues in a fairly short time. Yeah, we will be jumping back into game in 2 seconds. Meanwhile, they have gone straight onto Scudzy. He's trying to escape from all the commotion.
He certainly is, but he's not going to be able to get away with this one as the barrel finishes him off. It's going to be a 2-for-1 and a Baron going over to Team Pariah. Purely off the back of a DC. That is so painful for InMotion.
Extremely unfortunate as a result now. Wing still going to be dead, and with the Baron down, their siege is just... The poke isn't going to be enough to prevent this siege. They're definitely not in a great position. They need to keep stalling out this game for as long as they can, get more items in order to be able to make their poke even stronger. But with the 5th Drake now spawning in just 40 seconds, I don't know if Gaming InMotion are going to be able to stop this.
It certainly feels a little bit scary for them as we head towards the 40-minute mark in this game. And so far, we've seen a lot of long games in this tournament. But these two teams historically have had relatively short games. But this one, obviously, already over 10 minutes longer than the first 2 games in the series, ending at 25 and 27 minutes. This one going to be looking to be pretty much a 25 or 50 minutes slugfest. However, Pariah certainly not looking to make that the case, as the Dragon is going to be started off, and this will be their 5th Dragon. No answer whatsoever from Gaming InMotion. And with the Baron and the Dragon, is there anything that InMotion can do to defend this push?
No. They have an incredibly strong siege with the poke coming out from Victor and the split pushing Shen. I mean, with the Dragon buff and the Baron buff, I don't know how they're going to be able to deal with this. Though you can see now how quickly they're too scared to go even anywhere near that tower. The hard engage coming out from Sivir and IMB support on that Lawless is definitely a terrifying thing. So meanwhile, they're going to rotate round to the top lane as Flash continues to apply pressure in the bottom lane. Meanwhile, we do have another pause coming out fairly quickly. I believe that that has come from the side of InMotion Gaming. I believe there's another bit of a lag issue from there. So InMotion, obviously, this is their last chance to get back into the ESL Premiership. I say get back into the Season 2 ESL UK Premiership, and they obviously want to make the maximum, or make the most out of what they can during the rest of this game. There's definitely the chance they could be a DC on the other side to bring them back into the game, but
to even it up.
Yeah, to even it up. Again, that's extremely unfortunate. This is the disadvantage of playing online in these online tournaments. Lag and the internet can be somewhat unreliable, so definitely if you are ever thinking of competing in these tournaments, make sure that your internet is stable enough.
Make sure you get your second router ready for that quick swap around. But Flash going to be able to push down onto this tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Look at the amount of minions he's got on his side, practically leading an army down there. If only he had the Banner of Command. but he's going to be taking a little bit of damage from Keys. But over in the mid lane, they take away the inhibitor tower, they take away the inhibitor, and now they rotate down towards this bottom lane. Honestly, this could be looking like the end of the game for Gaming Emotion. Certainly not just yet, but if they can take this inhibitor as well, Pariah might just secure themselves the victory in the long run at least.
We'll have to see whether or not.
Bottom lane tower.
We will have to see.
I'm just going to keep on talking as soon as you start talking. Thaddeus is trying to talk again, so I'm just going to...
We will have to see whether or not Gaming Emotion do decide to pick a fight. It does look like both teams are going to disengage. Baron buff running out, same for that aspect of the Dragon, so that will now be available in about 3 minutes time, where I expect the Team Pariah to head towards that 5th Drake once again. So meanwhile, oh no, they still got a fair amount of time on this. It's just the Baron buff that does appear to have run out. So I expect them to head towards this top tower and go for this final tier 2 that is available to them.
They've got about a third of the duration on, or about a quarter now of the duration on that buff. So we'll see if they can use that to their advantage or if it's just going to time out on them. Honestly, it doesn't last all that long, and with it timing out now, I would expect them to end up on sort of even footing, at least in regards to extra buffs. So, in motion, since they managed to keep that bottom lane inhibitor, are still in this running, still in the matchup, and still in this best of 3. Have their opportunity to try and work towards entering the UK Premiership, and Team Pariah are looking to clinch that spot for themselves. So far, it's been pretty much neck and neck this game, but Pariah have managed to build up an 8,000 gold lead. But look at that poke coming out from Recycle onto Cutie Bacon Piggy. That last piercing arrow not quite going to connect, but he can certainly throw out a lot of damage. If they can just, it has, yeah. If they can just keep this up, they will be able to keep themselves in the game, and Varus will do obscene amounts of damage later on in the game. However, they have a core key, and we talked about it last time.
Yeah, they do indeed have a core key. Does fall off the later the game goes, but nevertheless, they do hold off the siege in the bottom lane. I think they're just going to give this tower up. It's much easier to defend the inhibitor towers than it is to defend these tier 3 towers, considering the 8,000 gold deficit that they're currently in. But they just need to keep poking from Recycle at this point in the game. The Varus isn't that mana dependent, because the cost of his Q is not exceptionally high, and he does have a fair amount of mana regeneration from that mana mune. So meanwhile, we do see the disengage coming out from Team Pariah, and I believe that they're just going to wait for the next Baron to spawn and the next Dragon, and by doing that they can force In Motion Gaming to come out of the base, come to them, which is exactly what they want. But not only that, if they don't come out, they're going to pick up the Baron and the Dragon, and with those 2 buffs, it's going to be almost impossible to stop their next siege.
Yeah, this is such a difficult decision for In Motion. Obviously, since the last patch, they do have both of those timers available to them, but you can see there's only 20 seconds difference between them. Which one do you pick?
Yeah, there is the risk of Team Pariah going for one and then in-game motion going for the other, but we'll have to see. Logically, I believe the best thing to do would be to contest the Drake, as Baron is a lot harder to bring down than the Drake is, and with how far ahead Team Pariah are, they could easily bring that Drake down unless Scudzy gets some miracle steal off.
Yeah, or Recycle, he does have that piercing
That's
arrow.
True, yeah.
Crazier things have happened. We'll have to see. They'll be spawning in just 30 seconds until that Baron, and look at the top lane. Immediately we see a huge push coming out up there. They've already secured the tier 2, but they decide they don't want to keep on pushing towards the inhibitor. Gonna give that red buff over to Pug, and they're heading towards this Baron. 20 seconds until this one comes up. Are we gonna see a contestant come out from Gaming Emotion, or are they gonna give this objective up? Well, you see stacking up around the Warlock Baron pit.
On the hunt.
Oh, they're going to start the fight, and Pez gets melted down. The Monsoon is not going to be enough to keep him alive, as Flash has teleported in. Not quite going to land the Shadow Dash, though. But that, with the support down, that should secure them this Baron buff. Or will it? We see Scudzy heading in. Can he come in for the Smite Steal.
Yeah,
He's certainly going to look. He needs to go for this. They need to make a desperation play. As Recycle gets caught up, that's going to be the knock-up. That's going to be 2 going down. And Wing is going to be caught by that depth charge. Dredgeline not quite going to land, but I don't think it matters. Keys coming in for the 1 versus 4. And in fact, it is going to be the surrender vote as the camera goes crazy. And that is going to be Team Pariah successfully pushing themselves through into the UK Premiership for a 2nd time tonight.
Yeah, so very well played by Team Pariah at the end there. Rather than actually do the Baron, they decided to bait it out because that's exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah.
They wanted the enemy team to be in a situation where they could win the 5 versus 5, and they needed to draw them out of their base to do that. So the moment they had superior vision control, and this is why vision is so important at these stages of the game. So the moment they saw them slightly out of position, they forced the engages, they popped on the hunt, and they immediately dropped down enemy members. And then once they had the number advantage, it was very easy for them to start the Baron and end the game. Once they lost those players from the side of InMotion, they decided that it wasn't worth continuing and that the game was pretty much over at that point. So commiserations to the Gaming InMotion organization. Unfortunately, none of their teams will be moving through onto the ESL UK Premiership Season 2, but congratulations to XL Esports and Team Pariah. Both teams will be moving on into the ESL UK Premiership.
And TCA and the North as well.
And TCA and the North from last weekend. So if you want any more information, have a look at the ESL UK website, and I'm sure there will be another link in the chat for you to check out. So,
so congratulations to our winners, and that, after a grueling battle between those two teams, will conclude our ESL UK Premiership promotional tournament for this season. In 2 weeks' time, we will be kicking off the first group stage games. And that will be, I don't know who the first game is. I don't know why I started that sentence. It is 2 weeks away just yet, but congratulations to our 4 new members. Massive thanks again to AOC Monitors, SanDisk, and Need for Seat for all of your support helping us run this tournament. We couldn't be doing it without you, but from me, from Vedius, and from the production crew, that is going to be good night, and thank you for watching.